When it comes to supersizing cars, the Americans are in a league of their own. Now that's fine if you're in the good old US of A, but in the UK, they can struggle with our often twisty and narrow road network. However, there is one car that's translated pretty well on this side of the pond, offering bags of practicality, loads of standard equipment, and you don't have to be an oil tycoon to run it either. The Chrysler Grand Voyager is consistently one of the UK's top-selling people carriers, and a quick look inside reveals why. The Chrysler Grand Voyager is shaped like a bus and almost as adept at carrying people too. It's anonymous and understated, but for many, that's part of the appeal. It may not win any beauty pageants, but where it really does score is in its practicality. It is absolutely cavernous in here. The driver basically gets an armchair to sit in, complete with armrest, and the raised driving position gives you a commanding view of the road ahead. The finish and the plastics are way behind some of the class rivals. In fact, some areas feel pretty shonky. That said, the touchscreen sat-nav that's available on top spec versions works well, as do these LED reading lights and the interior rear view mirror that's good for keeping an eye on the kids. Electric sliding rear doors make getting in and out of tight parking spaces an absolute doddle, plus there's loads of room here to install a child car seat, as well as tons of storage in the ceiling as well as the doors. But the biggest party piece is Chrysler's very clever stow and go storage seating system, which allows you to fold all the chairs completely flat into the loading bay, and you can even fold the rear bench down at the touch of a button, which is perfect for parents with 1,000,001 other things to be doing. When the seats are in use, the boot is actually still a pretty decent size, but when all the seats are folded flat, then it makes a pretty good impression of a van. Even by people carrier standards, the Grand Voyager is not a pleasant car to drive. The ride quality in a straight line feels good, absorbing potholes, but as soon as you approach a corner, the steering feels heavy and you immediately feel its sheer size and weight. There's just so much better disguised than something like a Ford Galaxy. Choosing an engine is easy because there is only one, a 161 brake horsepower 2.8 litre diesel that isn't great, feels underpowered when fully laden, and is slow-witted when coupled to this 6-speed automatic gearbox that just seems to have a bit of a mind of its own, constantly kicking down gears to keep you in that power band. But that obviously affects refinement and running costs. Be warned, those claimed fuel consumption figures are ambitious, as is the 0 to 62 mph claim of 12.8 seconds. There is a manual override function, but it's redundant in a car like this. Plus, the gearbox is so poorly located that unless you've got monkey arms, you'll find it a real pain to use. The Chrysler Grand Voyager may offer masses of space, but it feels like an old car in almost every aspect. There was a time when it would have made a lot of sense, but it's now a long way behind a whole host of rivals, including the Seat Alhambra and the Ford Galaxy, that are just as practical, but offer better build quality, improved driving dynamics, and are much cheaper to own.